I'm Jackson Wagner.
And I'm Camilla Rivero, and this is Spoke TV, your source for local and campus news. Many Canadians were recognized for their work Sunday night at the first annual Canadian Screen Awards, created to celebrate excellence in film, television, and media productions. The Québécois film War Witch was the most awarded film of the night, sweeping 10 categories, including Best Picture. Broadcast legend Peter Mansbridge took home the award for Best News Anchor, and colleague George Stroumboulopoulos won Best Variety Show Host. The ceremony was televised by the CBC and hosted by comedian Martin Short.
As the day to elect a new pope nears, Canada's own Marc Ouellette, the cardinal from Quebec, is a possible candidate for the position. The papal contender says he's ready for the duties of pope, but a little wary of the media spotlight.
Local environmentalists are concerned about the pipeline reversal running across the edge of our region. Daryl VandenBerg investigates a few of the main reasons behind their worry.
Fuel is a major part of the Canadian economy, but the pipelines needed to carry it across the country and into the United States has caused a great deal of environmental controversy. With spills in the past and the possibility of future ones, groups like Stop the Tar Sands KW have been started to raise awareness. Paisley Kozarin, who helped start Stop the Tar Sands KW, wants big oil companies like Enbridge to be held accountable.
So the problem with diluted bitumen is that because it's mixed with a natural gas condensate, if it spills, especially in water, the bitumen will sink to the bottom of a river or any other water body, and the natural gas condensate will evaporate into the air and it poisons people.
The Line 9 pipeline that runs from Sarnia to Montreal goes under the Grand River on the edge of Cambridge and North Dumfries. The pipeline needs regular maintenance to ensure there's no leaks that would lead to a disaster. Enbridge has already approved the reversal of Line 9 from Sarnia to Westover and still needs approval to reverse the section that goes to Montreal. John D. Gowdy, who has represented the Ontario Pipeline Landlords Association, says there's major concerns with old pipelines being abandoned and the out-of-date polyethylene tape used in most of Line 9.
The Line 6B in Michigan was installed, I think, in 1968, and it had polyethylene tape, and that was cited as the main problem with that led to the corrosion of the pipe and the rupture.
Enbridge will go ahead with using the polyethylene taped pipe. Senior Public Advisor for Enbridge, Ken Hall, explains how they're spending an increased $400 million this year for safety.
Since the incident which occurred in Marshall, Michigan, which was a serious spill incident, we have steadily increased our spending and our not only money but also expertise and people dedicated to pipeline integrity.
Hall said Enbridge will not be increasing pressure on Line 9 and has communicated with local fire departments for a disaster response plan and the Grand River Conservation Authority to monitor the Grand River. For Spoke TV, I'm Daryl VandenBerg.
In a movement that has taken the world by storm, the anti-bullying campaign focuses on ways to prevent it, especially in today's cyber age. Ferah Love explains why it's important for both children and their parents to stay informed.
According to World Health Organization, someone around the world commits suicide every 40 seconds. In Canada, suicide accounts for 24% of all deaths among 15 to 24-year-olds. February 27th marked Anti-Bullying Day across Canada, and Bell's recent tweets with the hashtag Let's Talk sparked more awareness on suicide and mental illness. Waterloo Region has their own way to prevent bullying with help from organizations like Victim Services, WAVE, and John Howard. Victim Services offers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week emergency response time. Corey Jacobs explains to us how they help.
Usually first on scene, right after the circumstances happened, and then we provide emotional and practical support for them.
Victim Service is a helpful aid to all, but in order to prevent the start of bullying, organizations like WAVE and John Howard target preschoolers and young adults. Jennifer Durst of WAVE talks about their contribution to the anti-bullying campaign.
And so we encouraged everybody in the schools to buy a pink shirt from the Record and wear it on Pink Day.
Although bullying before technology seemed to only appear in the schoolyard, Sally Sarachman of CTV talks about how they've developed the pledge to stop online and at-home bullying.
Think about it now to try and be a parent and try and raise your kids and talk to them about cyberbullying and texting and whatnot when that's not something that you're totally comfortable with. So parents are really asking for information about that because they just don't understand it.
According to the Canadian Institute of Health Research, Canada has the 9th highest rate of bullying on a scale of 35 countries. Now, for more information on any of the organizations listed on today's episode, be sure to visit spokeonline.com. For Spoke TV, I'm Ferah Love.
Residents are warming up to the idea of having a fire outside once again. Last year's fire ban has finally been lifted in the Waterloo region. Marcus Wolfe talked to some local residents about what this means to them.
As of February 25th, Kitchener Council approved residents having fires in their backyard. This came with some mixed reviews. Mike Wolfe felt it was a long time coming.
Well, I'm from a rural environment, being from a town of like 600 people. Everybody has bonfires all the time. Obviously in like an area like Waterloo, if you live in an apartment building, having a bonfire might be a little bit different. You don't have a lot of land, but being from an area where everybody has a ton of land, it's not really a big deal.
But people with asthma, like Holly Bilton, feel that backyard fires only add to their breathing problems.
Bonfires could be dangerous if they were to get out of hand. And also personally, I have asthma, so I feel that it would be a health concern for people who suffer from asthma.
But how much does wood smoke pollution actually affect people with asthma? Telehealth nurse Carrie says the effects are more directed towards children.
I'm seeing a lot of information, of course, about children. Like I was saying, their lungs are especially sensitive to air pollution because they breathe faster and inhale a higher concentration of pollution relative to their weight.
Fires will only be allowed between 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. A fire must be 5 meters from the property line or building. For Spoke TV, I'm Marcus Wolfe.
Conestoga College students dove right into the cause and into freezing cold water after raising money for breast cancer. Nicole Picton talked to some of the brave polar plungers.
Many students were lining up to take a dip in some cold water, but these students were freezing for a good reason. Conestoga Students Incorporated held their annual Polar Bear Plunge. The Polar Plunge is an event held during the winter where participants enter a pool of freezing cold water after they've raised money for a charitable organization. Events coordinator Becky Saba says the Polar Plunge usually brings out a lot of students.
All the money that gets raised is going to the Breast Cancer Society of Canada. Conestoga Students Inc. have been doing polar plunges for many, many years, way before I ever worked here, and it's just a tradition over the years. We did, for the last couple years, we've done the Breast Cancer Society of Canada, and we just had so much success last year, we decided to continue with the same charity this year.
Over 60 students signed up to show their support for Pink Pride. Social service worker student Joe Barry explains why he takes part in this annual event.
A lot of breast cancer survivors in my family. It's for a good cause. Why not? I did it last year as well, so I want to do it again.
Many of the participants were dressed in pink or as superheroes, but Barry was the only one who shaved his chest hair.
I have the chest hair. I might as well use it. Got to promote the pink.
Over $12,000 was raised last year for the Breast Cancer Society. For Spoke TV, I'm Nicole Picton.
Many local amateur actors were ready for their curtain call Friday night in Kitchener. Spoke TV's Meredith Taylor took a look at the importance of community theatre through the eyes of the young cast of Dracula.
With numerous community theaters in the Waterloo region, there's lots of opportunity for community members to get involved. One production that was performed this weekend was Dracula at the Registry Theatre in downtown Kitchener.
I need you to hold me. I need you to be with me, always.
I am here now, my dear. Very soon you'll become my bride and come away with me.
We spoke with the cast of Dracula to see what the importance of community theatre is to them.
I find it's a good experience for youth and me to gain confidence through plays, theater, to gain experience as well, because I want to become an actor when I'm older. So it's a good way to gain experience through actually doing plays and productions.
Well, I feel community theater is important because it gives young artists like myself a place to grow as an artist.
Community theater is really important to me because I feel like it helps kids get out of their shell and kind of be comfortable with themselves.
Director of the play, Karam Youssef, says anyone can get involved in community theater if they want.
Totally, you just have to ask. I mean, we're pretty lucky to be living in this area. We have Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, the Tri-Cities. You know, basically the theater scene in this area is definitely booming, and there's a lot of opportunity to join up. There's shows going on all the time, So it's just basically you can go online, look for it, or walk into a theater and ask someone what opportunities are there, but there's definitely enough to go around.
Act Out is already planning their next production, Willy Wonka Jr., which will debut in May. For Spoke TV, I'm Meredith Taylor.
Kitchener residents are jamming for the new exhibit at the museum, which showcases a series of the artifacts that belong to the reggae legend Bob Marley. Stephanie Snedden takes a look at the featured event.
Peace, love, and music. These are the three core components of Bob Marley's life. Marley was a musician who was praised for the life he brought to his music. Even decades after his death, Marley's work is still delicately cherished today. That's why the museum in Kitchener is holding a special Bob Marley exhibit, celebrating his life and his message. The museum's CEO, David Marskell, explains what sets Marley apart from other musicians.
And I've been really impressed. Out of all the exhibits from Warhol, Titanic, and the Avatar exhibit we just recently had, we've had the most pickup for Bob Marley and the brand. I mean, there's something about his message and the music that is motivating people to reach out to us.
Originally displayed in the Grammy Museum in Los Angeles, this limited-time exhibit was first shown in London, England, to coincide with the Olympics. After its 6-month stop here in Kitchener, the showcase will be moved to Miami, and finally it will head home to Marley's family in Jamaica, where it may never be seen again. Curator for the Grammy Museum, Ali Stubner, helped in organizing the exhibit's global schedule.
What we're trying to present here is really his message of love and peace and sort of spreading that word throughout the world. We have really unique and interesting pieces here in the exhibit, much of which haven't been seen in a while, and there are very few Bob Marley artifacts and pieces in existence, especially his guitars. He didn't have very many to begin with, so the fact that we have one here on display is really pretty exceptional.
Although it's been 32 years since his death, the message of Bob Marley stays strong and lives on. For Spoke TV, I'm Stephanie Snedden.
That's all we have for you this week. For Spoke TV, I'm Jackson Wagner.
And I'm Camila Rivero. For more campus news, visit spokeonline.com.